And welcome back, my dear students, once again to your YouTube channel. In today's video, I shall be continuing with your Julius Caesar Act 3 Scene 1. If you remember, we had stopped at line number 102 just after Caesar has been assassinated and there has been a chaos all over the capital. We had stopped there. Okay, and we will start from line number 103 on page 47 of your textbook. By the way, I'm using this particular edition of your Julius Caesar and we are on page 47. But yes, before I begin, let me remind you, if you've been finding my videos helpful, kindly do not forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. It shall keep me motivated. Also, if you find this video helpful, do not forget to give me a like, comment and share. It shall keep me motivated. Okay, so without further ado, let's get started. Line number 103, we begin with Brutus's speech. This is just after Caesar has been assassinated. Brutus, grant that, and then is death a benefit? If you agree to that, what is this that Casca had said? Why he that cuts off 20 years of life cuts off so many years of fearing death? Remember what Casca is saying? This is almost the similar words spoken by Caesar in Act 2, Scene 2, line number 34 and 35. Cowards die many times before their death. So that is the exact words Casca is repeating here. Why he that cuts off 20 years of life cuts off so many years of fearing death? That is, a person who is in a perpetual fear of dying is already wasting his living years. All right. So since we have assassinated Caesar, he need not worry anymore about his, the threat which looms large over his life. And to which Brutus says, grant that, and then is death a benefit? So are we Caesar's friends that have abridged his time of fearing death? If you agree to that, then death is a good thing in the sense that we are Caesar's friends and not enemies, because we have shortened his years of living in the fears of death. He had been living a life of fear because he could be assassinated any moment, and now we have really removed that fear by putting an end to his life. Stoop, Romans, stoop, and let us bathe our hands in Caesar's blood up to the elbows and besmear our swords. So this is the instruction he's giving to rest of the people now, that we need to stoop down and bathe our hands, wash our hands in Caesar's blood. Remember, this is almost the similar dream California had dreamt. Up to the elbows and besmear our swords and cover our swords with the Caesar's blood. Then walk we forth even to the marketplace, and waving our red weapons over our heads, let's all cry, peace, freedom and liberty. So we will cover our hands in blood, we will cover our swords with blood, and we go to the marketplace, swing the swords above our head and cry out, peace, freedom and liberty. Why? Because the tyranny is dead. The tyrant is dead. Tyranny has fallen. This is actually the idealism of Brutus. Okay, he is for peace, he is for freedom, he is for liberty. In other words, he is for democracy. This is his idealism, and it is because of these ideals for which Brutus had assassinated Caesar. All right. Cassius says, stoop then and wash. How many ages hence shall this our lofty scene be acted over in states unborn and accents yet unknown? Yes, we need to all, bow down and wash our hands in Caesar's blood. But let me tell you this, several years from now, our praises would be sung by people in those places which had not been even born in the map of the world. All right. Brutus. How many times shall Caesar bleed in sport that now on Pompey's basis lies along no worthier than the dust? This is very interesting. How many times shall Caesar bleed in sport? Sport is for entertainment. That now on Pompey's basis lies, basis is that pedestal, along no worthier than the dust. Caesar's body is lying on the ground at the pedestal of Pompey. This is the same Pompey and his sons whom Caesar had defeated when the play was beginning. So often as that shall be, so often that shall the not of us be called the men that gave their country liberty. So across ages, as long as humanity lives, as long as civilization lives, people are going to hail us as people who brought liberty to their country. Okay, Decius goes on to say, what shall we forth? Shall we move ahead? Cassius, I every man away, Brutus shall lead, and we will grace his heels with the most boldest and best hearts of Rome. This is why actually Cassius had, manipulated Brutus and brought him in, because he's a noble Roman and no one would question the task if such a Roman individual, individual is there in the plan of action. So he says, yes, every man will go, but Brutus will be leading and we will grace his heels. We will be his followers. At this point of time, a servant enters. Brutus, soft, who comes here? A friend of Antony's? Servant. Thus, Brutus, did my master bid me kneel. Master is Mark Antony. Thus did Mark Antony bid me fall down, and being prostrate, thus he bade me say. So, yes, Brutus, Mark Antony has sent me, and what has he asked me to do? To kneel in front of you, to kneel before you. And what did he say? And being prostrate, thus he bade me say. Prostrate is to face down. When he is kneeling, his face is, the servant's face is down towards Brutus's feet. What did Mark Antony tell the servant to do? Mark Antony has sent his servant to convey a certain message. What is the message? Brutus is noble, wise, valiant, and honest. Caesar was mighty, bold, royal, and loving. Say I love Brutus, and I honor him. Say I feared Caesar, honored him, and loved him. So this is the message he is conveyed through the servant. What did he say? Brutus is noble, wise, and valiant. Valiant is courageous as well as honest. And Brutus was also mighty, that is powerful, bold, brave, royal, and loving, affectionate. Say I love Brutus, I here is Mark Antony, and I honor him. Say I feared Caesar. So conscious contradiction between Brutus and Caesar. I feared Caesar, honored him, and loved him. If Brutus will vouchsafe is allow, that Antony may safely come to him and be resolved, how Caesar had deserved to lie in death. So he has sent, Mark Antony has sent in his servant to ensure that his life is not in danger. Mark Antony is not a fool. He knows it quite well that since Mark Antony was a dear friend of Caesar, his life could also be in danger. So he has sent in his servant to find out from Brutus about this thing. And Mark Antony, what has he asked this servant to tell Brutus? That if Brutus allows Mark Antony to come by giving him the assurance that his life is not in danger, then Mark Antony will come back here. Remember, Mark Antony was being carried away before Caesar was being assassinated. So, Mark Antony, the news has reached Mark Antony and he wishes to come to the spot where Caesar has been murdered. So he tells that I would only come if Brutus gives me this guarantee that my life is not in danger. But at the same time, Brutus must also tell me how Caesar had deserved to lie in death. How did Caesar deserve this fate? Or why was Caesar murdered? This needs to be told to me. Then only will I come. Mark Antony shall not love Caesar dead so well as Brutus living, but will follow the fortunes and affairs of noble Brutus through the hazards of this untrod state with all true faith. So Mark Antony shall not love Caesar dead. Now that Caesar is dead, Mark Antony is not going to, continue his love for him. This is what the servant says. So well as Brutus is living, because he loves Brutus and Brutus is living. But will follow the fortunes and affairs of noble Brutus through the hazards of this untrod state. Untrod state, new and unknown state, because this is just after Caesar's assassination. So things are in absolute chaos. So that is why untrod state. So says my master Antony. Brutus says, thy master is wise and valiant Roman. I never thought him worse. Tell him, so please him come unto this place, he shall be satisfied, and by my honor depart untouched. So Brutus tells, please go and inform Mark Antony that he is wise as well as a brave Roman, and that he can come to this place. I am giving you my word that he can come to this place, and I will satisfy him with the explanation why Caesar needed to die. And also tell him that he has my word that he will be untouched, unharmed. Now, children, two things are to be noted here. Number one, Mark Antony is an extremely clever statesman. He smartly manipulates Brutus, by sugarcoating his words. And we have all seen that how gullible Brutus as an individual is. And Brutus, since he's an idealist, he fails to see through the diplomacy of Mark Antony. Remember, previously, Cassius and others had told that Mark Antony should also be eliminated along with Caesar. But Brutus was the one who said, no, we need not do that. Here, Mark Antony is very cleverly putting forward his arguments to come in the forefront so as to, get his political advantage over here. So Mark Antony is sugarcoating his words in front of the conspirators, and he knows too well that these things are to be told to Brutus only. Otherwise, no one else would believe, because Brutus is the most gullible person here. So if he is able to put across his thoughts and views in front of Brutus, Brutus would easily believe him, and then he would be able to get his political advantage. So servant says, I will fetch him presently. I will bring him. And he exits. Brutus says, I know that we shall have him well to friend. Brutus is telling, I know I can convince him and persuade him to become our friends. But Cassius is Cassius. He says, I wish we may, but yet I have a mind that fears him much. I am not convinced, Cassius says. I am very suspicious of him. And my misgivings still fall shrewdly to the purpose. And I have this gut feeling that he is not going to be on our side. While this conversation goes on, Mark Antony enters. And Brutus says, but here comes Antony. Welcome, Mark Antony. And what is Antony's immediate reaction? He enters to see Caesar's dead body lying on the ground. He says, O mighty Caesar, dost thou lie so low? Such a stalwart, such a powerful individual, Caesar, you're lying on the ground in such a poor condition. Are all thy conquests, glories, triumphs, spoils shrunk to this little measure? This little measure refers to the small ground on which Caesar is lying. He says, all your life, all your career, you have made several conquests, you've brought in so many glories, you have made so many triumphs. Spoils are those, all the getaways that you get, takeaways that you get from your, after winning the battles, shrunk to this little measure. So entire career of Caesar is encapsulated in this two sentences. That over the course of your life, you have captured so many places, you have conquered so many places, you have brought in so many glories. But look at yourself now lying on such a small piece of ground, whereas your empire used to span over such a large area. Fare thee well. I know not, gentlemen, what you intend. Who else must be let blood? Who else is rank? Okay, so goodbye, Caesar. And then he turns towards the conspirators and says, I know not, gentlemen, what you intend, what your plans are. Who else must be let blood? Who else must be killed? Who else is rank? If I myself, there is no hour so fit as Caesar's death hour. If you believe that I should be put to death, then this is the best moment to kill me, because the person whom I love the most, Caesar, is dead. So it would be advisable to put me to death at the same time as Caesar had died. Mark Antony knows too well that his life is not in danger. Brutus has given the word. And that is why he is put forwarding this view. Very shrewd politician. Nor no instrument of half that worth as those your swords make rich with the most noble blood of all of this. So there is no other instrument, there is no other weapon with which you have stabbed Caesar would be fit to kill me, because you chose your daggers to stab Caesar and they are still red. Please use them to kill me, because no other instrument, no other weapon in the world would be better than that. Of half that worth as those your swords made rich with the most noble blood of this world. Caesar's blood is referred to as the most noble blood. I do beseech ye, if ye bear me hard, if you think I am your enemy, now whilst your purpled hands, whilst your hands are still covered with blood, do reek and smoke, fulfill your pleasure. Please kill me before your hands dry up. Live 1,000 years, I shall not find myself too apt to die, because if I am allowed to live for many more years and I have to die after that, then death would be really insignificant to me, because I could not die beside Caesar. This is all his, boisterous talk, vainful talk, just to, divert the attention of the conspirators, just to mislead the conspirators. No place will please me so, no mean of death, and here by Caesar and by you cut off the choice and master spirit of his age. So Caesar is referred to as the master spirit of this age. These are very important terms, my dear children, and I would suggest that you quote these phrases in your answers when you are talking about Caesar. So Brutus says, O Antony, beg not your death of us. See how Antony is very clever. Brutus responds immediately while Cassius waits. Cassius is watchful. He does not respond immediately, but it is Brutus who responds immediately to this passionate, fiery speech of Antony. What has Antony done in this speech? First part, line number 148 to 156. O mighty Caesar, dost thou lie so low? From there till 156, with the most noble blood of this entire world. This part of the speech, he is glorifying Caesar. He is showing his regard for Caesar. And in the remaining part of the scene, of the speech, from line number 157 to 163, I do beseech ye, if ye bear me hard, till this end of the speech, he is portraying his diplomacy and statesmanship. This is very significant. As a politician, Antony is playing his cards extremely well. And that is why Brutus immediately responds, "O Antony, beg not your death of us. Don't think that we are going to kill you. Though now we must appear bloody and cruel, as by our hands and this present act you see we do. Yet see you but our hands, and this, the bleeding business, they have done. Our hearts you see not, they are pitiful, and pity to the general rogue of Rome. As fire drives out fire, so pity, pity." He says, "Oh, Antony, we might seem to be bloody butchers in front of you right now because our hands are covered with blood. But deep within our heart, you do not see. You are unable to see what is there deep in our hearts. I'll tell you, Antony, as pity, as fire is required to drive out fire, in the same way, pity is required to drive out pity. For your part, to you our swords have laden points. Mark Antony, our arms and strength of malice, and our hearts of brothers' temper do receive you in all kind of love, good thoughts, and reverence." So we are considering you as our friends. Do not think of us as your enemy. Cassius, "Your voice shall be as strong as any man's in the disposing of new dignities." Now, Brutus is such an individual who cannot be, disregarded by anyone. He is such an honorable man. So Cassius says, yes, your opinion will be taken into account, because Brutus has given so many honors on Antony now by calling him lovable, with good thoughts, in reverence, all these things. So Cassius cannot help, but he has to tell Antony that yes, you are one of us now, and we will take in your point of view, or your ideas we will take into consideration before we take any decision as such. Brutus says, "Only be patient till we have appeased the multitude." But you need to wait. You need to wait, Antony, till the time we calm the Roman citizens down, beside themselves with fear, and then we will deliver you the cause. Why I did love Caesar when I struck him have thus proceeded. But let me tell you, the entire Rome, the citizens of Rome are a little scared. So I need to appease them first. I need to explain things to them. Till the time, you need to wait. Only then will I be able to give you proper explanation and justifications of why I have done and what I have done. Alright, we will stop here, my dear students. I hope I have been lucid enough with my explanation. Kindly do not forget to give me a like and subscribe to my YouTube channel if you find this video helpful and interesting. I'll be back very soon with the next part of the video. Till then, take very good care of your health and goodbye.